Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we have a very interesting conversation. I was led to read Psalms 148, Psalms 148, Psalms through 150, and it was pretty interesting because I feel like the Lord just hit chord. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Link in the bio for my book series, and yeah, let's just get into it. Oh, by the way, while I talk, you can enjoy me create some photos that I use because I'm now on Inkit, as you saw in my previous video. We're on the subscription thing, so you can still read it for free. So do not worry, like, oh, do I have to pay to read the Archives BFF lost files? It's free to read. It's just if you want to donate monthly or give monthly, there's an option on there, and you can also always go to the website. And there's always an area where you can do a one-time donation or customize your donation. Just want to get that out there, but let's get into the video. So one thing that I am learning is super interesting. I like hearing people like talk about the creations and stuff that they're making for the kingdom of God. I think that it's so interesting that lately I feel like with the ban of TikTok, because are you all right, buddy? Are you scratching your neck? You want some TikTok? Do you need some TikTok? TikTok's gone. Oh no, it's okay. And there is red note, which 你好，我叫李芳如，我喜 yeah. Oh, 我喜欢no. Gosh, I forgot how to say it. 我喜欢跳舞. Am I saying that right? 唱歌. Chufan? Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I literally went to school for Mandarin. I don't remember anything. I literally didn't make it past. I got an A, like a 96 actually in Mandarin. It's really hard. I don't remember it. That's why eu falo português. Yeah, I switched to Portuguese, Brazilian, and French. Bonjour, ça va? Anyways, je vais bien. Anyways, yeah. I actually learned Portuguese. Long story. Reading off topic. What I'm going to talk about is, creating for the Lord. And right now, I feel like as a creator who writes books about people's testimonies, coming to Christ, yeah, it's been interesting, honestly. I've been in this process now for about 2 years now. I'm going on my 3rd year. My bad, my fault. I'm going on my 3rd year doing this. And it's so interesting because before I came to Christ, I wasn't making content for the Lord. Surely wasn't. Christ? No. My content was mainly leading to K-pop. I don't know how many EXO obsession music videos I made, or EXO exact. It's so sad because I actually recently, no, we're not talking about it, I'll talk about it. I actually got rid of both of those albums. Yeah, it's okay. Even though I was begging someone to buy it for me, and I did eventually get it. One of them I think I did buy, but it's fine, it's gone. But I used to make a lot of K-pop edits. I used to be an amino leader. I know, not the most greatest thing to say right now that I was on amino, but I was. It was very successful. I had a very successful amino, I'm not gonna lie. Some people, it didn't have like 100,000, no, it didn't have 200,000, it had 2,500 members, and it was great. It was like it's kind of like Discord. For those who don't know who Amino is, actually it's kind of like the best way to say it. It's kind of like Discord mix of like blogging, polls, but my place turned up. Okay, so let's see, I remember it. It was cool. It was really good, I'm not gonna lie. One of my biggest things though that I do know that in my entire career as a creative, because some people might be like looking at my previous YouTube videos or my book series, or you made it to Inkit and you saw like the animations, this, that, and third, and you'd be like, how do you know all this and stuff? You said you went to college, you said you did this, but what's like the full story? And for me, I just been doing a lot of creating. I think that a lot of people right now, it's the beginning of the year, and people are trying to figure out what their life purpose is, like why are they put on this earth. And I was watching Pastor Conway from One Community Church. He has a master class, and it pretty much talked about, and it's free by the way, but he was pretty much talking about purpose. And one thing that he mentioned is like, look back at your past, and it's like, what are those pain points, or what are those good points where it can be used for your future. So for me, I always was in like art class, like always was. Wasn't because I wanted to, it was because that was the only choice. I took a lot of art, let's see, through elementary school. I had to take art. I couldn't get into orchestra despite me playing piano by ear. Couldn't get into orchestra because I didn't have a piano at home, and I couldn't afford to do violins or cellos during that time. And so your default option was art and choir, but I only did choir for like a year, so really just art. And then in middle school, same thing happened. Couldn't get into orchestra or band at this point. I also went to school in Germany. Yeah, anyways. I went to I didn't go to German school, but I did go to school in Germany, and it was interesting. And while there, I took mainly art and humanities, and a little bit of home ec. So I did a little cooking class with a little bit of sewing in there, and I did all that kind of stuff. Wasn't nothing too crazy. And while I was in middle school, I took video production for the first time. So I learned how to work a camcorder. I learned how to do basic video editing on, I don't even know what we use, to be honest. I think we use Premiere. I think I learned on Premiere, but I also learned on iMovie. But I'm pretty sure, for sure, I learned Premiere. So that was like my first editing software that I really learned. And then I also took yearbook. I was yearbook editor-in-chief for 8th grade, but I did it in 7th grade as well. I did like photos, so I learned photography, rule of thirds, all that, which I am a natural apparently at photography. And which key is just bending your knees, honestly. Like that's like my biggest pro tip for any photographers out there. Bend your knees, and if you're not on the ground, like if your elbows aren't touching the floor, you didn't get the shot. I'm sorry. You can't take a picture like this. You need to get down. I take a pictures like this with a camera. What? Oh, look at that. I have my camera. LOL. So you take the picture like this. This is like your pro tip. Most people, when they take photos like this. But me, I do this. You call getting different angles, you know, or this, and then be like, but yeah. So this is right here, which is another thing. This is my mother's camera. This is from when I used to live in El Paso, and she used to take photos. She got into photography when I was 9, and then I later got into it because she kind of taught me how to do photography. So from my mom, actually, and her learning experience of using a camera, I slowly learned how to use the camera. So I started learning 4th grade, 5th grade, and then once I lived in Germany, it was like, I don't know what I was, like 11, 12. I already knew how to work a camera. So keep that in mind. 3 years of experience with a professional camera. This is a Canon. I don't even know what this is. It's a Canon camera. Oh, a Canon EO5 Rebel right here. So I already had experience with this, and then I later got experience on like Nixon cameras. I don't like Nixon cameras, but you know, it is what it is. I have the privilege to say it, and I don't like it because I had been able to use it. But even from that, now that I realize it, I had got that experience with that. One of the things though that I will say though, as I moved on with my things, I learned graphic design, I learned layouts, I learned InDesign really well actually, which I later got certified in college. But once I got into college, I'm getting way too ahead of myself. So yeah, I learned video production and all that in middle school, camcorder, and then professional camera at the same time. And then when I got into high school, freshman year, I started my own amino community with a few others. From there, I learned how to do blogging, business, analytics, advertising, art direction, copywriting, all that at 9th grade. Keep in mind, I started kindergarten at 5 years old in February. So technically, I started at 4. And I did preschool and all that. So I kind of was a little young for a freshman year. I think I went in at 13. So at 13, I started my own business. That was my first one. So right there, I had business experience. And then, yeah, I had business experience. And yeah, I think that over time, I learned through my own business experiences freshman year. It was interesting. Like, I learned so much just that year, to the point that when it came to my 10th grade year, I was applying everything I knew, from graphic design, film. I knew art direction at this point. I knew all this stuff, self-taught. I mean, there was a few YouTube videos I watched, and I did it. And I did art class my 10th grade year. My 9th grade year, I did a video production class. I don't know really what it was. We did use Premiere Pro. I just didn't, but we're doing it on the computer. I mean, I remember painting. That's why I started doing digital art. Yes, I did start doing that. So I started doing that in middle school and high school. I started doing digital art because my great grandmother, who passed away, she was, I'm just grabbing it. I like how everything is in orange page this time, not me like looking off. I had got one of these. I inherited this from her passing. It's a Wacom. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's a Wacom. Wacom. I think it's Wacom. Anyways, I inherited this from her. She was the first person that I know, and still one of the only people I know, who did digital art. She also taught me a lot about coloring, arts and craft. She used to make like birthday cards for like everyone in the family, like everyone, with a little $20 inside it. And it's interesting because I actually inherited this from her, but she actually taught me digital art with this. And I inherited, I still have it. The pen is down like crazy. Which pro tip, if you want a drawing tablet, get one of these. These are really cheap to get. I think they're like $15 to $30. It gets the job done. You just need a computer. But I started doing this, and I started my digital art journey for sure 9th grade, making K-pop art. And K-pop and ice fantasy fan art. I was into like Chinese fantasy at this point, so I was into that. Prior was just Korean dramas, Boys Before Flowers, you know where it is. I was watching so many stuff, but I was getting heavily inspired by different arts. At this point, I started watching Saved by the Bell, so I started getting to more long form television after consuming a ton of international content. I'm back in the States at this point, because I did high school here, interestingly enough. And then 10th grade, I got into business classes, and that's when I learned that I already know business, at least basic business. And then did art. I did really good. That's when I learned I can do realism pretty easily. I have this Bruno Mars painting that I probably want to show you, but I have a Bruno Mars painting that actually looks like Bruno Mars. We learned it by grid method. I learned how to do clay. I learned how to do charcoal art. I learned a lot of stuff. I feel like that was like a really, really good traditional art class that I did. And so yeah, then moving forward in high school, we're talking now 11th grade, I did animation school. I went to animation school because my counselor told me that in order to be a video game developer, I needed to know animation, not coding. Anyways, did that. I learned how to do, and then at animation school, I learned how to do, let me see. It's really interesting how like God like led me into these different career paths, and it was always art. It was never like something else like STEM. Despite me being like a straight A student, I could have did STEM, but I always got let out of STEM into some art class. But I did most at animation school, which I went for like half the day, every other day. I learned motion graphics design, so I got my After Effects certification there. Actually, was the first kid at school to ever get an After Effects one, and I also learned. Ooh, I'm blanking out. I learned frame by frame. I learned tweens, and I learned how to make like music videos. I learned how to make moving text. I learned how to use Adobe Animate, and then obviously Adobe After Effects and more Premiere Pro, like just more and more Premiere Pro. Even though I don't like Premiere Pro, it's not my most ideal place to edit, and I think it's because it literally has no transitions. Like if you want to do like cooler stuff other than like dip to black or dip to white, you have to go to After Effects and just do it. But also, if you edit videos on After Effects. The longer it is, the longer you're going to sit there. So Premiere Pro is probably more better for long form. At this point in 11th grade, I started doing music videos. I started with my own another business. I was doing graphic designs, cover arts, and poster arts for different people. I was charging people pennies for unlimited revisions. It was horrible. I do not recommend it, honestly. But it helped me build a portfolio. I then got into all of the different things. You might notice that I keep leaning towards music, like more music and music. 12th grade, I got into film production. I went to film school, and again, this is every other day, half the high school day. So I went to 2 schools, and there I learned how to do like film production, like actual like I learned how to work a monitor where you tap the buttons, and those buttons, I might have to share some of the stuff that I'm talking about, but I had to learn how to work different things, the big cameras, and I learned like the different roles, like especially like floor manager, directors, all that. And the third easy class got cut short because of COVID, because I'm one of those 2020 people who graduated high school. Fine, I'm not complaining about it, but I learned a lot from there. During this time, I also went to film school because the second school I went to paid for my Adobe Suite. So as long as I stayed enrolled at that school, they would pay for my After Effects. And again, I'm making K-pop edits, like at this point full-time, not getting paid full-time, but doing it full-time. And I'm making way too many EXO edits, and like EXO. And I this is before I knew all the allegations, but everyone EXO essentially. I was making a lot of edits. I was building an Instagram following. I was collaborating with different K-pop editors, and it was fun. I didn't mind it. I did use it as an outlet to express different creative ideas. I started doing my own little film productions at home, and in this room actually I started learning, like actually the thing that I'm recording on is a tripod. And this tripod, I actually used it for my productions. I also, during this time going into college, my freshman year, I learned projector art. I learned a lot of stuff. You might be like, what are you trying to say? By the way, as I'm yipping and yapping, I want to say that I was not in the will of the Lord. Absolutely nowhere near. And it definitely showed more and more when I got into college, especially once I got enrolled, like once my foot touched UT Austin. I am a University of Texas Austin alumni. I graduated like a couple months ago, so yeah. And I'm also a Texas Creative alumni as well. So during those times, I went to school and really got deeper into my understanding of advertising, because that's the thing I just lack information in, which I learned that it's not that I lack the information about advertising. It's that it's by God's grace that something will get advertised, like it will reach the person. That's actually maturing, is realizing that it don't matter how many tools you use in advertising, if it's not meant to be for your thing to blow up, then it's just not meant to be. It don't matter how many times you post per day, it don't matter how many analytics or impressions you get. You can't force people, you can't force impressions, you can't force reach. You can pay for it, but you can't force the interaction. It's only by the will of the Lord that your thing will blow up. So honestly, an advertising degree is kind of worthless. Anyways, that's when it comes like to y'all entrepreneurship stuff. But I did learn all these other things. And at this point, with all the different businesses I ran from a t-shirt business. I had a fashion line. I sold no copies. I didn't even buy my own shirt. I used one of those print-on-demand sites. And I did the cover art. I was signed to a cover design agency. And I licensed my artwork, which that actually did make me like some money. Not a whole lot. It made me $100, but just about that. And I also got into crypto stocks. I did binary options. I did option trading as well. I done crypto trading. I done stock trading. Lost a lot of money and jacked up my taxes. So I did all kinds of business stuff, but I did business. So where does this all tie into with purpose? Well, there was two wills in life, and this is what I learned about wills. Okay, there's two paths in life. You can either take God's path, the path that He has for you, or you can take the path that your just naturally gonna go down, right? So my natural path was going into music. That was my natural path. I was naturally gonna go work in something related to music, and I was going to be behind the camera, not in front of the camera, and that I would pretty much be someone else's laborer. I was always going to labor for someone else's vision. That's really what it is. Not even music, actually. It's just laboring someone else's vision. That was my natural path that I was going to go on. You know, when it does with YouTube, I have had probably 10 different people in 10 different cities tell me, hey, we should collaborate on a YouTube channel. But it was they talk, I edit, I do all the back work. When it came to even people's music careers, I managed people in their music careers. It was always putting their vision forward, putting all the work in, getting none of the credit. And that's literally what my path was prior to Christ. And I'm definitely multi-talented, but I always ended up, and people noticed that, they preyed on it, and they also took advantage of it. So I have, especially college is when I found that out the hard way, was that everyone that I was telling, the stuff I'm telling you right now is what I told other people. When I told these people what I was doing, my resume, essentially, I had so many wolves, so many, wolves in sheep clothing coming to me, trying to get me to do their work, to put their dream together, even though they're able-bodied and they have just as capabilities as they can to, do that, what they're trying to do. Literally, they would just use me. They would use me and they wouldn't pay me. And that was my problem. I used to work for free. Now, my book series is for free. That's because God said it's for free. But when it came to, back-breaking, creative work, so I'm talking about from script writing to After Effects editing to making all these emails and calling different people's, planning people's lives, essentially, almost day by day, and just to not even get a penny back. I mean, I'm pulling out my wallet. I'm pulling out my wallet. That was my natural path, was always putting someone else's vision together. And I did reap some reward. You might be like, what is that reward? Well, that reward was a resume. That's the only thing I got out of it, honestly. A resume, and it led me to different doors. I did get into a very, very prestige not music collective, but a very prestige, very, very prestige organization. Like Rihanna's in it. Playboy Cardi. BTS. They're in this organization. I won't name it, but I was in it. And I used to brush shoulders with a lot of these people because of my resume, because I kept doing other people's works. They let me in to this place, and I got to network with more and more people. But I'm telling you, none of it prospered. I had all these talents and I was using them, and I wasn't getting a dime from it, but I was still getting to these rooms. I'm talking about, I got into some crazy rooms. I think the craziest room of all time that I got into, and I had this feeling. This is the same year. This is the same year. This was at the beginning of the year. So at the end of the year, I gave my life to Christ. So it was right before this all happened. The craziest party. No, it was that year before. Anyways, the craziest thing that ever happened. The craziest door I got into, y'all. And you might not believe me, but who cares? I got into the same room as Paris Jackson. I literally walked next to her. I'm not saying this I'm saying this in a way where it's there's some people who are really niche, but that's Michael Jackson's daughter. She walked past me and I thought she was a sorority girl. And I keep saying that because that's the minute I realized that celebrity people are just regular folks. I'm telling you, I did not know that was Paris Jackson. I didn't even know it was her until I left the party and someone tagged her in it, and I was I literally was just standing right next to her. And that's the craziest thing. It's I got into all these different rooms. I'm talking to Bruno Mars's team. I'm working with crazy folks, and they ain't paying. Now, I'm not saying I was an official member on some of these stuff, but I was having back and forths. I'm doing some of their, I'm doing a lot of assistant work, honestly, at this point. And people at UT Austin knew being very familiar of my connection, to the point where I had a lot of people asking me like for internships, like, hey, can you put a word in for me for this person? And I was doing that. And I don't know if things prosper or not. That's really none of my business. That's not, I'm just here to give you the link, not to get you the job. But then things started to hit the fan, because I wasn't doing the will of the Lord. I was doing my own will, or just any will. That's even worse. It's not even doing your own will. It's just doing whatever. And you're just going through the motions. Like, people thought I was going to be this big hot shot, so I went down some path that could make me a hot shot. But the thing was, the goal honestly was to get to Rolling Loud, just to say, look at me, I made it. And I didn't have to pay for my ticket because I got backstage. Like, literally, there was no plan. And so, and I had mentors. Like, I had mentors, or at least people I can kind of rely on. And these people were like heads of like different organizations, like heads, like the top of like some of the biggest brands you probably think of. Like, as long as they were Black and they were a woman, that was my connection. Did I get a job out of those connections? No, because all it was just putting someone else's dream together. So like, what I'm trying to say though is like, the path that I went on was the path that God had for me. And this path that God had for me was to be a writer. Like, he encountered me in my room, in my dorm room. Literally no one was there. It was during Thanksgiving break. My TikTok, yes, TikTok, it sounds so ancient now, but my TikTok feed got bamboozled with so many. This is a testimony video. I guess we just walked into it. Anyways, so my TikTok feed was full of God's trying to get your attention. God's trying to get your attention. Why is God trying to get my attention? And at that moment, I felt the presence of the Lord. And at that point, I was like, hey, yo, chica, what the world is going on? I'm like, oh no, God is actually, oh no, but oh my, like, God is actually real. And I was really sitting there in my room just being like, I thought it was just a word or just a saying. Like, I felt it. I felt really like terrified, because I was like, oh, because I was reading my Bible, like the Bible verse of the day, and I didn't remember a single one of them. I did kind of tune into church. I was pretty hesitant because at Austin, there's like a lot of cults and there's a lot of false teachings that are being taught down there. So I wasn't like really plugged into like a home church there. And I was very lukewarm. I'm like, I was the definition of lukewarm. Actually, I don't even think I honestly know, because I don't think I could even tell you a Bible verse other than Matthew 6:34. Like that, not even 33, just 34, which most people know 33. I only knew 34, which is, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has its own problems, or something on that line. I literally didn't know anything. And when God told me my path, that's when it reminded me of Pastor Conway's video that I watched. What? My thing, it turned off. Yeah. Anyways, I was watching Pastor Conway's video, and he was literally talking about your purpose. And it's like, oh, when God told me to write my book, it was kind of weird. Like, write The Archives of BFF, just write it. You gotta get it out, get the film out, get everything out. It was crazy, because that was the one story that I had just on lock since 2013. Like, for real though, obviously there's a much deeper problem deeper tone to the story that I won't get into in this video. But I will say though, I had this story since middle school, since elementary school, and I told a few people, and they said you should get it going. And but every single time, honestly, when I thought about it, literally another person would come in and be like, hey, I have this idea, do you want to work on it? And again, as a military kid, I'm over here like, yeah, sure, I'll try to make friends, so yeah, let's do it. And no, they literally just use me to get their own quick buck. But it's fine. And one thing that I learned as like time went on, God told me to do this, that. He gave me so many confirmations. Like, when they say like a baby Christian, like when you're a baby Christian, you have all these like I feel like every prayer was getting answered at that moment. Like, you couldn't tell me. I'm over here saying like, you better repent or you're going to hell. Like, that literally was me the first like month of my walk. And which I gave my life to Christ on Christmas Eve. Easiest anniversary date to have, honestly, because the easiest one to have. So I'm very grateful for that being my anniversary date with Christ. And one thing that I learned when when walking with the Lord during this time was that he gave me so many confirmations and about working on a series but he also called me to the series and not work. Like, I couldn't work. Like, I literally am one of those girlies right now. Like, the Lord honestly was calling me out of my job back at my second semester of my senior year, and I did not quit. I actually picked up more hours, which is funny because I ended up having to cut some of those hours because I got really sick. So the Lord was really calling me into it. So post-grad, and I've been doing it now full-time. Not on full-time pay, but full-time. Definitely something that I have been learning. One thing though I will say though is that you might be like, well, how did you know that it was this series? How did you know it was like a book? How did you know it was a web novel? How did you know it was a graphic novel? How did you know there was even a website to be it? And honestly, my saying is I didn't know because God didn't tell me the full thing. He just said work on the Archives BFF or just work on BFF, you know? It literally wasn't all the extra stuff. And I was already journaling some of it, like just journaling it, like these, oh my gosh, like these copies right here were already, that's not correct. This was done. This was done. This wasn't done. These two books were already done by the time God told me to, work on this series. So I was just doing it as casual. That's why the books looked the way they look, because they were just for personal use. They wasn't for, I was just, just writing. Also why the archives start at 2022 and not 2010. That's what the web novel's for. But anyways, one thing that I will say though is that the signs were there. Like, things just came naturally. Like, everything I'm doing for tabs is very natural. Like, everything I'm doing for tabs is very natural because I already have experience in it. I already know how to do it. The cover art, I already know how to draw cover art. I literally was a cover art designer. I was signed, I was in an agency. Of course I know how to draw cover art. Of course I know how to draw because I did art class. Of course I know how to animate some of my animations because I went to animation school. Of course I know how to do film and I know how to write a script because I went to school for it. I took classes I collaborated with people on scripts before. Whether or not they turn out great or not does not matter. I got the experience. When it came to web novels, I had the experience of writing because back when I first was doing K-Soloist, we had I collaborated with other people to do like a Wattpad story that was inspired by different K-pop artists thrown together. We had our own little universe. That's how I have the experience in writing. Also, I have experience in storytelling because I did edits full time. You know how many seasons I have? Go to Loda Untitled MP4. No, LodaUntitled.mp4 on Instagram. Yeah, just go on there. I have so many seasons. I have 130 moods. That's 5 seasons I did. I did Sofa Sign. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. Sofa Sign, that was 7 seasons. There's Forever for Never. That's 3 or 5 seasons. There's Recall. That was 1 season. There's Mission Cupid. I think that's 3 or 4 seasons. I did so many seasons, so I already know storytelling. I know how to tell a story, do different avenues. I obviously have the experience in even just production design. Like, I'm certified in After Effects. It's kind of expired, but I'm pretty sure the interface didn't change. I also got my certifications in InDesign, Photoshop, Premiere. All of that. I went to art portfolio school. So of course I know how to pivot designs and not be stuck to one design art style because I had to learn different art styles in art portfolio school. So of course I know how to do that. Of course I know graphic design because I was a graphic designer for 5 years. That's how I got into those very elite social things. I mean, in Soho House, I wasn't a Soho House member, but I got through the door. How did I get through the door? Because I had business experience. And I signed up for programs. So that taught me business, that taught me leadership. So of course I'm going to have my own publishing house because I already learned it. And of course, this all comes with finances. If you're watching this video, you probably saw me draw all these pictures. The pictures that I drew. And you see the money thing. Now the Lord said the numbers, okay? There's a fella out there who might want to tie $60 a month. We'll let the fella have it, but it's free. Keep that in mind. But even when it comes to that, y'all, even when it comes to that, you know, one thing that the Lord taught me, especially when I'm not making that income, was at one point I was making that income, and God told me every single thing I need to learn from what I didn't do well when I was making good money that some people would not see as good money, but it's good money if you know how to save, if that makes sense. And literally one thing that I would say is that I had to learn how to finance. I took accounting in college, I took personal finance, I know how to do taxes, I know how to do, like, I know how to buy stocks, I know how to buy crypto, because again, I was trading it. I was trading crypto. Like, the minute Ethereum went up, the minute Bitcoin went up, I wasn't even trading those. No. I was going into like Solana or XRP or I wasn't trading XRP, but I mean Shiba Inu. Girly, we're past Doge. We're past Doge. There's AMP. There's all those other things. How did I know this? Because I literally got the experience. You got to go back to your past. So it's like where your life purpose is like look back at those things in your life where it's like what has the devil tried to literally do? Like one time, like I remember one thing was that I don't think I was shy. I just think I didn't get the opportunity to really express my extrovert. But one thing is that because I was always boxed to this shy category, literally the devil was trying to get me to not use my voice. But as you know, that even with YouTube, I tried YouTube a couple times. Did it prosper? Absolutely not. But did I know how to get that thing uploaded on YouTube? Did I know how? I now know how to add the end screen stuff with the little subscribe. How did I get that? Because God showed me. God showed me throughout all the time. I may have not surrendered my life to God, but He definitely led me. There was definitely people praying, even though it was just one person. There was definitely people praying, and like that's what I'm trying to say is that like when it comes to your life purpose, you gotta go, and God's gonna say, "Are you gonna go?" So look back at your past. Be like, what is it that I'm good at? What is it the things that I should be good at, but I haven't been able to really prosper in it? Is it communication? Is it leadership? Is it storytelling? Is it drawing? Is it working with your hands? Or do you like building stuff? Do you like using a screwdriver and a hammer? Or do you like fashion? Did you do fashion design for a bit? Did you get one of those toys and was making like different skirts and stuff? Or were you into filmmaking? Or were you into cleaning? Or were you into whatever what it was? What was it that really caught your attention and still does to this day? Or maybe it hasn't. Just think about it, because it's 2025. You all better lock in. If you don't lock in, then God will pick someone else. That's the hard truth that I had to learn. That's why I'm getting on my Zoom. Because if you don't do it, God's going to give that dream to someone else who will fulfill it. Because the Great Commission, God's will be done, whether you want to be a part of it or not. Just think about it. This is a long video. I am not looking forward to editing this. I'll edit it. But yes, I hope this video did something to you. I hope it clicked something in your head. Like and subscribe. It's on Inkit now. Lost Files, Archives BFF. Check it out. It's already popping. Y'all already like it, y'all. It's crazy. Got folks really in there. Someone already made it to chapter 5. They're gonna be really in a rude awakening, realizing that it's not linear, and I haven't added much 2010 or 2011 stuff, or even 2010 stuff. But I'll get into it. I have been doing so much pivoting this week. I have been, again, the map thing didn't work, as you can see in the last 2 videos. Watch it for sure, just see context, and maybe it might inspire you to make something. And then obviously I had to transfer all my files to Inkit. So hi Inkit, nice to meet you. Place is nice. I need you to develop the interface a little bit, so I can be a little more better on the user experience side. But overall, I think it's good. I feel like right now, I'm in a good spot as far as life. Finances aren't looking the hottest, but at this point I just know that God's going to provide, so I'm not like stressed out about it. I could be, but I don't have the energy to. But I've been feeling really good. I feel like right now Tabs is going on a really nice direction, and I'm pretty excited for like what this year has to come. As much as last year was not ideal, I mean, I'm telling you, God put me on His strongest warriors last year. I mean, right out the gate. This year's a little different though, and I'm excited to say that it's going to be different, because I can know it's going to be different. I know it's going to be different for you too. But I will say, if you don't take 2025 as the year to really dedicate yourself to the Lord and do his will. I'm talking about not your will, because you know God didn't call you to that. So I don't even know why you keep spending too much time on it. That's why it ain't working. I don't know, that's for someone. I don't know who that's for, but it ain't working. So clearly it's God's way. Seek the Lord. Seek Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and let him be the Lord of your life. Obviously repent, because you have to do that. Yeah. And I will say though, much prayers to the people who are affected out east with west with the fires, and obviously there's going to be a lot of different temperature drops happening around the country. So everyone just stay safe, stay prayed up, and make sure that you are really seeking the Lord about your TikTok relapse. It's okay. Don't go pick up another TikTok addiction of scrolling on Instagram. Just don't do it. And then there's Red Note. Read the fine print. That's all I'm going to tell you, is read the fine print. And if you're getting on Red Note because you want to scroll again, just know that you spend 5 to 12 and a half hours on an app where you're scrolling, looking at a whole bunch of videos. Just know you're not doing the will of the Lord. You're not. You done wasted 2 weeks on one app and you didn't even post on it. You're not doing the will of the Lord. Just letting you know. And trust me, because that was me. Yeah. I was on it 12 hours, but I definitely was on it way too long. And because of that, there was serious delay. Like, I should have more web novels now, and I don't. You know why? Because I was on TikTok. But anyways, this is a long video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, and bless your heart. Have a nice one. Bye.